What's up, you guys? It's Lo, Beauty Demon, and I am back to talk about some family vloggers today. Now, I'm actually just filming this intro real quick because this is gonna be a get ready with me. So I'm gonna be having a naked face in a minute, and I'm gonna be putting on my makeup while I talk about family vloggers. So if you do not like get ready with me's, sorry, I just wanted to play in some makeup and chat about bullshit today. So that's where we're at. But before we totally get into it, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell icon so you get a notification every time I post, because I don't have a regular upload schedule. That's how we roll around here. And everything I say in this video is just my thoughts, my opinions. This is based on what I am seeing on the internet. Don't send anybody any hate, negativity, nothing like that. That is not what we're here for. If you feel strongly about the topic that we've discussed, comment down below. That's what they're there for. Did I say below? Yeah, I'm gonna talk about family vloggers in a minute. This was just kind of like a little all over the place, if you will. Like I said, it's a get ready with me. I don't have a script. I just wanted to play in some makeup. All right, enough rambling. We'll get into the get ready with me now. Okay, so I have no makeup on. If you've never been to my channel and watched any of my true crime videos, you've never seen me without makeup. So first I'm gonna jump into my eye look because I always just jump into my eyes first before I do my foundation. And then we're gonna talk about some family vloggers. I've been using the e.l.f. line and define tape things, but I also cut them in half because spending all this money on fucking tape for my eyeshadow is actually ridiculous, but I do like these. Imagine if this is how I had started the entire video out. Hello. So, family vlogs. Let's get into this. How do I feel about these? Well, to be honest, I'm not totally sure. Because on one hand, I get the appeal of wanting to see this family and, know what other families go through. It probably has a lot of reassurance of how other people live. And I think it's just like humans, we are always super curious about what other people are doing, like how they live their lives. I mean, come on, like I have a commentary channel. So we're here to talk about people and speculate, I guess. So, I mean, like, it's part of human curiosity to watch or, like, be drawn to this sort of stuff. So it's not like, I don't know, it's not that weird to me. It's just, it's new. But the public has always been, fascinated by seemingly ordinary people or, like, when people live, like, ordinary lives. And I'm sure, like, back in early 20th century, there are all kinds of articles about, like, famous babies and stuff like that and following them through the years. But I think it's just the fact that now it's become so more prevalent. It's not just about vlogging your everyday life. Because see, that's what I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with, is if you were just sharing everyday vlogging stuff of, okay, I'm taking the kids to school and then I gotta go pick up our prescription and like whatever. Some people like that kind of stuff. Where I think like the real problem with these modern family vloggers, whatever you want to call them, is, well, there's a few things. One, it's that a lot of times the kids are the main focus of these things. These kids have their own net worth. They have their own social media accounts. They have their own set of fans and stans. People will even pick which of the kids of the family are their favorite, which is kind of, I don't know, it would feel super weird to me to know, like, if I had brothers and sisters and we were all online, that there could potentially be like polls as to which kid of my family is the favorite. And so then the other problem, once again, it kind of like revolves around the kids, because really that's what it is. The kids are the problem. And it's not the kids' fault that they're the problem. By any means, it's the parents' fault that the kids are the problem, because the parents are putting their kids up for public consumption on the internet. And we all know, I mean, I would love for the internet to be a nice place where people weren't complete and utter assholes or complete and utter creeps, but that unfortunately is not how the internet is. I feel like everybody, at least watching this channel, feels that way. We would love it if we all felt safe and secure on the internet, but we know the internet is not a safe place. Unfortunately, the internet is just like an extension of the real world, and the real world is not a safe safe place. And there have been family vloggers that have been made aware of the fact that their kids are being exploited on not great websites that kids should be on. You know, websites that adults go to and watch things that other adults do. And these would be videos of like literally nothing, like literally just a baby just chilling there, not doing a damn thing. It could be like a 9-second clip. Because here's the thing, people that like to watch that sort of stuff for nefarious reasons, it doesn't really matter what's happening in the clips or how long the clips are. It's just that the clip exists for them. That is so scary. That is one reason why I'm so afraid to have kids, because kids are literally in danger all the time. And like the flip side of this is like, okay, back in the day before social media and stuff, people would take pictures of their kids and they would carry them around in their wallet and they would show them to everybody. And that's almost what people are treating social media like it is your public wallet photo album. Like a lot of you might be too young to remember this, but wallets used to come with like long photo things that would come out and you'd be able to show like all the school pictures and a family vacation and stuff like that. But now that's what social media is. It's just that wallet photo book thing that we pull out and show everyone, especially Instagram. I mean, and with the kids being up for public consumption, they really are not necessarily prepared for the quite literal barrage of hate messages they may also be getting. Like, you were so mean to your sister. Why are you being such a brat? And as you grow up online, can you imagine people commenting on how you're filling out or how you seem to have put on weight or noticing how tall you're getting? Like making all these physical comments because they're noticing physical changes on you, or even going so far as to maybe commenting on how they liked your hair before you cut it or something like that. When kids are making personal choices and experimenting, and kids, they just don't know like how many people are really watching them. Like, for real. I mean, they don't even have an idea of what 10,000 people even look like in a room. And then for some of these kids to even have like listings in Forbes magazine of how much they're worth, and you know, they have 3 million followers on Instagram, and these kids are making TikToks all the time, and you know, they're getting super famous, and it's concerning because you're wondering who's really looking out for these kids. We hope that their parents are looking out for them, but their parents are subjecting them to the whims of the internet and what people are saying online. I mean, there are whole Facebook groups dedicated to this stuff, and we don't know really what the ramifications are to kids being this exposed online. When I was a kid, sure, like blogs existed, but you had to have some sort of like knowledge on how to make those. Websites were starting to be made where you could kind of like build those on your own, but they weren't super prevalent. And it wasn't even until I was in college that MySpace was around. I think MySpace did exist, but it wasn't super prevalent. I knew I was one of the first of my friends to use social media and use MySpace, and I learned very quickly that anyone could view what I was putting on that site. So I became very cautious about what I share on the internet. And I know that sounds weird with me having a YouTube channel, but I thought long and hard before I even uploaded my first video. I thought about it for years because I knew I would be subjecting myself to criticism online, and sometimes it would be harsh criticism. So I had to come to terms with that and to kind of set myself up to make sure that I wouldn't let that kind of stuff affect me. I feel like I just put a target on my back saying that shit, but okay. But yeah, these kids don't really have like any scope of reality as to like who's watching them. They might even feel uncomfortable with the thought of 5,000 subscribers watching them, let alone like 5 million or 10 million or 25 million like some of these family vloggers have. It's just crazy. And then they have all the stuff that is marketed with their face on it, and they really don't have any sort of say in this sort of stuff. Another really scary aspect of this is that there are no laws protecting kids in family vlogger situations. There's also no laws that are protecting kids in reality TV show situations. Now, in the United States, we have federal occupational laws. So with OSHA, we have these standards, like you can only work so many hours, and then you have to get a unpaid or a paid break depending on the time. But then also there are child labor laws that saying, kids under certain ages can't work. And I believe in the United States, it's kids under the age of 15 cannot have a legal job. And then once they are of a legal working age, they can only work so many hours on certain days within certain times. And this is because kids are already in school, so they can't have full-time jobs because they're already spending 6-7 hours a day in high school. That's considered part of like what their working environment should be. And it's also because kids are kids and maybe they shouldn't be doing manual labor all the time. There are no federal laws that protect kids in vlogging situations or in reality TV show situations. There are like state laws about at least kids in reality show or performing situations, but those are so lenient and lax. I mean, if you look at somebody like the whole John and Kate +8 scenario, that's basically like a family vlogging thing gone haywire. Those kids are starting to become of age, and I'm sure they'll probably start speaking out soon if they're legally allowed to, because TLC might have them in some sort of gag order or something as well. I don't know anything about that either. I just kind of like put that out there. But they lived in a state where there weren't any child labor laws in terms of performing, so there wasn't like requirements of like how long they can film or like that the parents put money aside. And this is the same with family vloggers. They don't have to put money aside for their kids. They're exploiting their kids and using them for views and clickbait and, selling their image on things, but they don't actually have to put any of this money aside. They're using it to fund this lavish lifestyle. But this is this kid's money. This is what they are obviously working their entire life too. And the majority of these kids don't even know any better. A lot of kids nowadays, at least in family vlogging situations, are born into family vlogs. Now, this is where it kind of becomes a little bit of like a slippery slope though, is, parents are the ones that are in control of their children. And we always expect parents to have their children's well-being in mind. And a lot of people, they just want to share their kids and share their experiences being a parent. And like, I get that. The argument against family vloggers, besides the exploitation of your children, is that you don't know who's watching. Predators could be watching you at any given moment. I get that. And I get wanting to shield your child from a predator. But the thing is if we're going to live our life in fear of predators, like I can't go outside. Like as a woman, there's a predator everywhere I go potentially. And it's the same with kids. And I can also understand being a mom and wanting to like just on a regular everyday Instagram, not like a vlogging Instagram, like share my kids and share how much they're growing and stuff like that. Granted, I don't have a big Instagram following. And if I did have a big Instagram following, I'd probably keep that stuff like private for other people, not for the world to consume. But the kids just don't have any sort of protection. They don't have people looking out for them. And there's no laws in place. Now, child actors in Hollywood, they have a little bit more of like legal protection in some instances. But we've even still seen cases where kids that are child stars come out and they have serious problems or they weren't able to get their money. Their parents still spent everything. Like Corey Feldman. Wasn't that Corey Feldman? Yeah. His parents spent all of his money and he's been considered a laughingstock of Hollywood because he actually came forward with like serious allegations a few years ago that we're now seeing are valid concerns in Hollywood and everywhere. Now, I can't remember the specific act. I want to say it's the Cooley Act, but it is an act that was instated because a child star in the early, I want to say it was like the 20s, he made a boatload of money. And when he became 18, he found out that his mom had spent all of his earnings. So this law was put into place so that child actors, their parents are legally obligated to be putting a huge chunk of their money into some kind of trust for them to get into later, which makes sense. They're working for this money. YouTube vloggers, reality TV show people, they don't have these kinds of laws. They don't have to put any money aside for their kids, and they are arguably being more exploitive than the average child star's parent. I don't know, it's debatable, but they're sharing so much of their kid's life on the internet that anybody could just walk up to them and know like a super embarrassing thing that happened to them last week, or they had to go to the ER and get stitches a few weeks ago and mom made it the focus of the vlog and now everybody at school is asking me how I'm doing. Like, that kind of shit is scary and weird. Also, on the sets of major films, kids are only allowed to be there for a certain amount of time per day. They can only be there within certain hours. They have multiple tutors on set, and family vlogs don't have this sort of stuff. And a lot of the time, not all the time, but in a lot of instances, especially on certain networks, I mean, look at the Duggars, 19 kids and counting. That is it directly is about the kids. I can understand like both sides of the argument. You know, some people say they're not being exploitive to their children. They're not doing them any harm. We don't really know that though. We don't know what kind of ramifications come from this. Okay, so I finished my makeup. I'm still kind of on the fence with the family vlogging thing. I get the idea that these kids are being exploited. They're not being taken care of. Their parents maybe don't have their best interests at heart. Fund these lavish lifestyles. I mean, look at somebody like the Ace family. They have a $10 million home that is built mostly around the family vlogs. And I know you can go to you can go to their channel and see that they will use their kids in the thumbnails and in the titles. They'll put their names. Millions of people around the world know who your kid is, how old your kid is, and what their milestones in life were like. And don't get me started on like the first period stuff and like first time shaving legs. Like, some of this stuff is obviously way too personal. They should not be putting this on the internet at all. And then I do get the other side of just like people who are just wanting to share their experience. As humans, human curiosity gets to us. We want to know what's going on. And I think like if I was a new mom, I might watch like new mom vlogs to know I'm not totally fucking my kid up. I have this like weird back and forth because like I said, I see it on one side, I see this argument, and then on the other side, I see this argument. I feel like it's not a black and white thing. I feel really strongly about the idea of children being exploited and not being taken care of. Now, the whole predator thing, I don't know. I mean, like, I get it. Obviously, I talk about predators on my channel, and to attack families for the predators, they're the victims of the situation. We need to focus on the problem. I don't think that these mothers and parents are putting their kids up for predators to consume. That's not what their intention is. They just know and accept that might be who is also watching, in addition to all of the other people, in addition to their target audience. I, however, would not be able to reconcile that, which is why if I ever had a kid, I would not be putting this kid on YouTube. Before I go though, I wanted to talk about a couple things. One, I am going to be diving more into family vloggers because I am very curious and I want to form a more complete opinion on it, because obviously I'm kind of like wish-washy right now. I also want to know what you guys think. I'm sure there'll be like a mix of comments down below. But there was something else that really like made me like think about this like even more. And it was not the Just Fam video I just did. So I saw a few people talking about this video by Jonathan Jolie from the Saucony Jolies. They're a family vlog channel. Jonathan Jolie was born in Ireland, and Jonathan is the father, or the patriarch of this family rather. Jonathan posted a video maybe like a week ago, and it was just titled Coming Out. And even the thumbnail is kind of, I'll say two things. The thumbnail is kind of clickbaity. Honestly, I feel like it was a little queerbaity too, because like it's giving you the feeling that Jonathan's coming out as being gay. And Jonathan does come out in this, but not for being gay. So Jonathan is coming out with a memoir about their childhood. And I know the Saucony Jolies have been criticized in the past. They have 3 kids, their middle child being a son, Eduardo. And Eduardo, they fully support Eduardo wearing playing dress up in dresses, wearing girl clothes, playing in makeup, wearing wigs, like all that fun stuff. Whatever, that's fine. Some people have said they feel like the Saucony Jolies push Eduardo to do this sort of stuff because it gets a lot of people like looking at them, and it gets a lot more subscribers and views, and they're using it all for clickbait, and people think that they are exploiting their child. And even if they are not pushing their kid to exploit themselves in a non-binary way, they are still exploiting it on the internet by filming it and showing it to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. They have almost 2 million followers. So lots of people see this. I'm not for hiding who your kid is and stuff like that. But when you are that young, like I think this boy is younger than 7. He's either 7 or younger. Oh, you are experimenting and trying out new things and just playing dress up and living your best life because you have no idea of the world around you. And I mean, even at that point, you don't even really have an idea of like gender. I feel like their child is starting to get to that point, but might even be more confused now because if it is true that the parents are kind of pushing this on and really egging it on, it could be confusing for Eduardo for sure. But take all of that aside, that's fine. I want people to feel comfortable with their kid expressing who they are, as long as they are not pushing them to be something they're not. Unfortunately, they are exploiting Eduardo's journey regardless of what's happening. Now, the other part of this, which is even sicker, is that he's coming out with a book. So this coming out video was not Jonathan Jolie coming out, although once again, it kind of was in 2 ways. So Jonathan Jolie is writing this memoir about their childhood, and in their childhood, they actually at some point realized that they were a girl and they were in the wrong body, and they had this whole imaginary world. All my friends are imaginary, or whatever the phrase is. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that at a certain point, Jonathan had to take this girl version of themselves and all their imaginary friends and pack them into a box. And then one day, Jonathan realized that this girl version, Giselle maybe was the name, was them. But Jonathan never did anything about this. Jonathan did not say that they were a woman, but that when they were a child, they realized they were a girl. So I was like confused. Did Jonathan just say that they're like in the wrong body? Jonathan's writing this book about this. But then Jonathan does also include in their video, that their son Eduardo really inspired them to connect to this again. And then they wrote this whole memoir. And then they include this montage of Eduardo playing dress up in all of the, in like Disney costumes. Eduardo's wearing Frozen costumes and like Tinkerbell and stuff like that. Also, somebody pointed out, I don't know where I saw this, it was some comment somewhere, Eduardo is sandwiched between 2 sisters that are very close in age. So chances are he's seen his sisters playing and he sees what they do and he doesn't really care. He just wants to play with his sisters, and yeah, go for it, have fun. Eduardo gets to see their sisters dressing up in fun Frozen dresses. I want to dress up in a fun Frozen dress too. Maybe. I don't know. I was always a Jasmine kind of girl. Aladdin is my favorite Disney movie. And I don't know, the whole thing just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It was Jonathan like exploiting the possible gender identity of their child when their kid doesn't know. And obviously Jonathan, at one point in Jonathan's life, was very confused about their own gender identity. I don't know if they still are. This video was to announce a book about their son and their gender identity. I'm curious because I was still completely confused. So many people were latching on about how this video was so clickbaity because it was just about like dropping a book. But I was like, well, Jonathan did technically come out as like identifying as a girl, at least as a child. I know people who have transitioned much later in life, and they say, even when I was little, I knew that I was different. I don't know, things don't really change. You are who you are. And if that's the case, I hope that they actually start working with some actual like psychologists for Eduardo in the future. Because if Eduardo is somebody who's born in the wrong body, Eduardo's gonna need a lot of mental health support that is not just their mom and dad, because obviously their dad is very confused as well. And dad might want a little bit of therapy too. But like I've said before, I think everybody should have some therapy. The world would be a much happier place. Okay, you guys, this video has been so all over the place. I don't even know if I said everything that I wanted to say about family vloggers. Did I even say about? Okay, but I will be diving more into them. There's just so many family vloggers I don't know what to do. And then, you know, there's other people who are anti-family and mommy vloggers that kind of have the front already covered. I don't necessarily need to go in and attack, but I just have some opinions. So I don't know, I just want to watch some of them some more, get a feel for what's going on. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.